Hello and welcome to another unboxing review for the Broken Meeple. As I explained on my Chaos in the Old World unboxing review recently, I have had comments that the volume on my videos is too low, so I have increased the microphone level on the camcorder to balance out with the Rode microphone on top. If I was to increase the volume on the Rode mic, I think it would pick up everything in the known district, let alone the rest of my house and outside. So hopefully this will be an improvement, but feel free to let me know if you still think I need to make it louder. But, like I said, you have been warned. So today we're looking at Alien Frontiers, and specifically the 4th edition of Alien Frontiers. Not only done by Clever Mojo Games, but also, you might be able to see there, Game Salute. Now, Alien Frontiers, I only got a chance to play this recently on Tabletop Day, and I was keen to try it because I own Kingsburg, which is similar to this. This has a retro sci-fi theme, Kingsburg is a more medieval theme, and they both involve rolling dice and then placing your dice in various spots to do various things. Kingsburg requires you to place the dice in sort of mathematical ways to effectively get advisors to help you build a kingdom, whereas this one, you are placing your dice on various spaceports and space stations in order to put colonies on a planet that you're after, whilst getting more territories or more area control than your opponents. It's almost like two games in one. You've got the dice aspect and you've got the area control aspect. It's quite a nifty little game. But I played I played the 3rd or 2nd edition, whatever it was, of this game, where it was mostly Smarties for colonies and sort of weird little plastic rockets for victory points, that kind of thing. So this is the 4th edition. I've only seen the base game once. I haven't seen what's in here apart from what I've seen on online videos. So, without further ado, let's make a start and we'll see what's changed. Whoop, up comes Alien Frontiers. So, first off, Rulebook. Doesn't seem particularly thick, but you've got a nice setup diagram there of the actual board. 4-player setup as well as the 2- and 3-player variants. You've also got gameplay, the facility, orbital facility descriptions, i.e. where you put your dice. It's a lot of text, but even though it looks small, most of these are examples, so it is a very clear rulebook and it's not a very difficult game. It's basically just explaining what each part of the board does, because each thing has a special ability, and some of them are actually quite self-explanatory. And to end it off, you've got the special sort of effects that you can place on territories, and you've also got the tech card explanations, which is like alien tech cards that you can buy during the game. So it is quite a text heavy manual, but there is a quick play reference on the back there, and there is an icon reference there. So it's not a difficult game to learn by any means, so don't let the rulebook fool you. Tokens, right, what have we got here? It's a good question. I don't recall this many tokens being in the original game. I've got a feeling that these are placed on the... I'm not entirely certain what these tokens are, actually. They might be placed on the board for... They could be the rocket dice, actually. In fact, that might be it, because... Yes, they're shaped like rockets. I know what this is, because there was a Kickstarter or a promo or something like that where you could get rocket dice for this game rather than just rolling d6s. Personally, I hate the look of the rocket dice. I mean, great. Yeah, it's thematic, but, I mean, if you look at the shape of those things, right? You imagine rolling a dice that's shaped like that. That's only got 6 sides on it. It just looks weird. So this will probably be something that you won't need unless you were one of those people that got the dice and want to use it. So we'll chuck that aside. I don't think that's going to be much good. Victory point track here from 0 to 14. It's a very tight game, and I wish it would be a more interesting point track, but it still functions. It still does its job. And then you've got the colony spaces on... Whoop, never mind. There you go. There's the victory point track. Needless to say, these things punch out quite easily, it seems. But here, if I show those, you've got the colony spaces. So whenever you've got the most control in a particular area of the planet, you get that special ability, and you put it in front of you. Now, we come to the board. Well, actually, no, we'll get to the board a little later, because I want to see what components we get in this game. Now, let's see. First off, we've got, these are the energy tokens and ore tokens that you can get. Now, in the base game, I think they were smaller and maybe a little brighter. These ones look darker, but these ones definitely look bigger, I think. They just seem bigger, so bigger is good, but I just wish there was something a bit more entertaining than just orange token and grey token. I'm thinking of going into the Among the Stars Kickstarter the next day before it ends, so maybe I could grab some of those white cubes maybe for this, or find some other components. There must be something else that can be used for this, but they're not bad. I mean, they're nice and chunky wooden pieces. It's not plastic, it's wooden, and they do their job. I just wish that maybe it just had something a bit more unique. Although, on that note, just quickly first, you've got the different colour dice. These are very nice chunky dice. See that? Very chunky dice, nice colours, easy to read, so this is a highlight. And you've got the sort of special, those, let me show you again. The IP and R tokens, you can see that at the bottom there? They are special like effects that can go on a colony. These are the little models that you use to represent their effects. So if I show you one for example, here we go. There, see if we can get a focus on it. There we go. So, you know, these are pretty cool. Nice little plastic minis, and these don't come on the board that often, but when they do, they liven up the game a bit. I think it was just the token last time. Now you've got those things. You've still got the rather sort of dinky little rocket ships for the victory point track. Would have been nice to have had something different, but never mind, it's not that bad. But this, now this is something. Let's move this over a sec. In the past, you just had little Smarties, coloured Smarties for the colonies. Now though, you've got these things. The colonies are, they're all the same across the board, but if I get this to the camera, you can see it's like a little colony inside a little dome, little plastic dome. Just plastic, still quite durable though. Nothing special on the other side, but imagine having a bunch of these all over the place rather than Smarties. I think that's a nice touch, and I like them. I've heard some people like the original Smarties. Personally, I've no idea why. These look so much better, and that's an end of it. Honestly, artistic merit, people. Okay, got tuck boxes, which are meant to store the player materials for each player. Now, this is essentially where you're normally meant to put like your ore and your sort of like, well no, you can put your ore and energy in here during the game, but there's no point. Mainly though, you've just basically got these for each player, so you can put the dice in here, you can put the colonies in here, you can put the rocket ship, basically everything of that player colour can go into one of these boxes, and it makes for very nice, cool storage. So it's a nice little touch and saves me having to get a bunch of bags out. Oh, this one seems to be a little bit stuck though, so hopefully that one will fold back in the long run. But there appears to be enough for some reason, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ah yes, because this one actually has the relic ship and tokens inside it, and this one is for the alien tech card. So there's a couple for other materials, but these tuck boxes are a really nice addition, and it saves you having to get baggies, because look, this is one of the first games I've opened in a while that doesn't have spare baggies in it. So, you know, it's a nice change. Alien tech cards, there's not many of them in this box, but they come more in expansions, and these have got a very nice sort of retro sci-fi style picture to them, and they basically have a special ability that you can either use every turn, once a turn, if you hold on to it, or you can discard it to get a slightly more powerful ability. They're very good, they allow you to do some really cool combos, and when I played this, I focused entirely on getting these, and it was quite a cool little strategy. Now, there's not many of them, as you can see, but at least that means you don't have to buy any more sleeves, does it? So let's move this box out of the way a second and get sorted with the board. Okay, so here we go. Here's the board. Hopefully you can catch my voice from behind the microphone this time rather than in front of it. But there's pretty much no difference between this and the other board. Maybe there's one or two bits that have been neatened up or made slightly bigger, but generally it's, I think that green laser beam there on the terraforming station in the top left wasn't there before. you know, they're cosmetic and relatively minor changes. Other than that, the board is pretty much identical to the previous one. But it still looks cool. I mean, if we go up to places like here, the Orbital Market, you've got the sort of very nice looking picture there for the market itself. You've got, if I can twist the camera around without, there you go, you've got the solar converter and the terraforming station on the left where you can get energy and put extra colonies down. You've got the alien artifact over there, which basically gets you more of those tech cards that I told you about, you know, the really funky tech cards. And if I tilt the camera down here, colony constructor, where you can get build colonies with ore. You've got the, sorry, this thing seems to have gone a bit stiff. Let me see if I can sort that out. Okay, slight hinder with the camera there. Right, let's carry on. You've got the colony area, no, not the colonies, you've got the territories on the planet here. Then Badlands, Highland Plains, Plum Foothills, that kind of thing. Each one gives you a special ability for having control of it. And that little center square there in the middle is where a relic ship is put, which is basically like an extra worker. Your dice are effectively your workers. If I tilt over to here, there we go, maintenance bay where you can build more ships, and the colonist hub where you've got the slow way of getting more colonies. But as you can see, whoop, zoom the other way. So as you can see, the board is very nice to look at. It's got a great sci-fi retro theme to it, and it just really does look gorgeous. I mean, yes, it's not any different from the previous version, but it really is nice to look at anyway. But it doesn't all end there. I've got a little surprise for you guys. So you thought that was it? You thought that was everything in Alien Frontiers? Well, yes, that is it in the base box anyway. But I got a little present for you guys. Ta-da! Alien Frontiers Factions. I am a sucker for expansions when they add things like special powers and that. And this is what Factions does. And even better than that, look at this. Ta-da! Little mini faction pack 1. This is effectively a giant rip-off. Not that they're not cool. I mean, it is nice to have extra factions and that, but this faction pack 1 basically gives you another faction and a couple of cards, and you have to pay 6 or 7 quid for it. Yeah, rip-off. I would have rather had another big box for the factions, but, well, I can hardly complain. I bought it, didn't I? So stupid old me, eh? But I like having all the expansions. I've got this completionist syndrome problem when I buy games, so it's I've only myself to blame. So here we got the slightly bigger rulebook than I would expect, or certainly a thicker one, although I think by the looks of it, most of it is fluff text on each faction. Basically the factions are your own, almost like racial powers. They give you a special ability that you can use in the game, but you also have an ability that everybody can use as long as they buy it from you. So the rulebook again is fairly text heavy, but it's mostly just explaining what the powers do and what each new card does. But it does have a nice picture of the faction board itself with a full explanation of what they are, what they do, and how they work. Now, we have another tuck box for the agenda cards. I'm really liking these tuck box ideas. The Among the Stars Kickstarter's got this thing as well, where you can have tuck boxes. Maybe tuck boxes are the new thing. Oh, and Nothing Personal had them as well. Nothing Personal had those, except Nothing Personal fell for the problem where once you sleeve the cards, you can't fit them in the tuck boxes very well. Note to game publishers out there, if you're going to do tuck boxes, make sure sleeved cards fit. Okay, rant over. Here's another one. Player materials purple. Like I said, it adds the ability to have another player in the game. Personally, I don't think this game needs an extra player, but oh well, at least somebody can choose purple if they want it. And again, you've got the purple dice, you've got those purple funky colonies, and you've got the rocket ship for the guy like I showed you in the base game. One thing to note though, word of warning, okay? Word of warning. Now, I bought the 4th edition of this base game, and that is the newest one. This was also released, as well as that Faction Pack 1, it was released for the other editions as well. When you go online to shop for them, make sure you are getting the 2nd edition of Factions and the Expansion Pack. Okay, not 4th, it's only 2nd. This is only the 2nd time they've released this, okay? So you are looking for the 4th edition of the base game, and you are looking for the 2nd edition of Factions and Expansion Pack 1. Chances are most online stores won't have the old editions in, but some do, and some even have the old version of Alien Frontiers in. So don't make that mistake, okay? Useful tip. Anyway. Whoop. Get out of here. What have we got here? We have got objectives. Okay, so as well as more alien tech cards, you also have, let me show you for example that one there, you know, in-game objective and end-game objective, so you can have extra ways to get victory points. It's quite a nice little touch, that, actually. Haven't seen these in action, however I look forward to trying these out. I think this is going to step the game up quite a bit. And there's 1 or 2 other alien tech cards that you can get in this box as well. However, let's get on to the highlight. These things. Cool boards for each of your factions. So, look at that. See? That's the Smugglers Alliance. That you get these lovely little boards. Alien Factions board on the back. Fairly, not thick, but sturdy. Sturdy cardstock, which shows you who you are. Your special ability, I believe, is the bottom ability. And the one at the top there is if someone gives you an energy, they can use the special ability, which is similar but not quite the same as your own one. So again, we've got Smugglers Alliance, we have the Scavenger Fleet, we have the Homestead Union, we have the Corex Conglomerated. Try saying that faster when you're drunk. We have, oh God, even worse, Proxima Centauri Scholars. Again, try saying that fast when you're drunk. We have the Dark Space Explorers. Not the most original title, but never mind. We have the Uranian Syndicate, which looks, I don't know, a bit similar to the Smugglers Alliance, really. It's effectively, yeah, it's effectively something around a giant rock. And last but not least, we have the new Gaia Engineers. Now, they each have their own unique ability, and I look forward to trying these out. I have not tried Factions yet, but if you look at Tom Vassal's review, he absolutely adores this game with Factions, and I think I'm going to be no different. Unique races with special powers, extra objectives. This is just what the game needs to be. A fantastic game. It's already really good, hence I bought it, but it's going to be a pretty amazing game. But I look forward to showing you a review of Alien Frontiers at some point in the future. And I will also probably give you reviews of Factions as well to show you how it changes the game, because I will have played both types, and I will... Sometimes I won't even throw in Factions for new players. I probably recommend you don't throw this in for new players if they're really new to games, but if they're a gamer, you could probably get away with it. So that's that lot. However, forgot about this guy. Yes, Faction Pack 1. Now, like I said, rip-off. So let me show you why. Here we go. Impromptu component drop. Yeah, well, you're not getting away. Component drop. There you go. One little mini rulebook to explain the new card in there. You have a new alien tech card and a new objective card, like I showed you before. You have a weird little tank thing, which I must admit is quite... let me get out of the bag for you, actually. Alright, here we go. Let's have a look at this. Alright. It's almost like a little tank or vehicle that you can drive across the planet. This faction does seem pretty cool, actually, being able to drive a little utility vehicle across the board. So we'll see how that goes. However, here's the board itself. We have Xeno Explorations Incorporated. Xeno Explorations Inc. Or Z for short. I don't want to pronounce all these names all the time. But I got a feeling that this one allows you to drive the vehicle across the planet and maybe copy other abilities, or maybe it gives you more control. Not entirely sure. But it sounds like a cool thing anyway. And of course, more races is good. So presumably they will release more of these faction packs in the future, and knowing me, I'll be OCD and buy every single one of them. But seriously, you can make them cheaper. You can make them cheaper if all you're basically getting is a rulebook, a couple of cards, and a board. You know, this is effectively paying like £5 for the board, and maybe £1.50 for the little tank thing, and maybe the car, and maybe like, you know, the rulebook, and maybe like 50p for the cards, you know, so it just seems like a bit of a money sink. But no major worry there. So that's the unboxing for Alien Frontiers, as well as Factions and the Faction Pack 1. There's a lot of boxes to get through, and my table is looking like a complete mess at the moment. So I'm going to get on and do some tidying up and sort out all these tuck boxes. But as you can see, there's not a great deal of difference between this and the previous edition. It's mainly just a little bit of cosmetic improvement, some tidying up in places, maybe some rule clarifications in the cards from what I've heard, and I'm not sure if the previous one had tuck boxes. I think it did, so I don't think that's new. But certainly I do like, I'll get them again for you just for sake, I do love these little colony ships. For using them, they're much better than the Smarties in every way. I don't care what you say. On this occasion, I can't imagine that a tiny little wooden Smartie representing the colony is better than this cool looking plastic dome with a little model inside it. I mean, seriously, it's brilliant. Anyway, I better get on with sorting all this lot out. So that's it from me for this unboxing review. There will be new content coming out soon, and I will see you next time. Take care and enjoy gaming.